In 2025, 12 U.S. towns are giving away free land to save your retirement savings. These are real offers and no scams. Imagine $85,000 homes, 50 grand, or a welcome parade. But will hidden taxes, isolation, and strict rules ruin your dream? We've checked town records for costs, healthcare, and catches, and so much more. You won't ever find this information on Zillow. Number 12, Curtis, Nebraska. The only place where moving in gets you a parade, not just a handshake. Seriously, the town will literally throw a parade for new arrivals. Marching band, fire trucks, the whole Norman Rockwell starter pack. And they're not just tossing confetti. Curtis hands out free residential lots. Median home prices hover around $100,000 and rent averages a wallet-friendly $550. Crime? Basically a rumor. The local golf course is open to all, and the Medicine Valley Public Schools are so excited for new students they'll pay you a bonus if you bring kids. Sounds like the kind of place where your biggest worry should be running out of sweet corn. But let's talk about the fine print, because every prairie paradise has its kryptonite. In Curtis, it's the mosquitoes. Not a few, not a seasonal nuisance, but clouds of the little vampires that treat newcomers like an all-you-can-eat buffet. Summer evenings on your porch? Only if you're into extreme sports. And don't plan on late-night cravings. Most shops close by 6, so stock up early or get ready for a lot of creative pantry dinners. So picture this. You get a free lot, a parade in your honor, and neighbors who wave at you like it's still 1955. In return, you brave the bugs, adjust to early nights, and learn to love small-town quirks. Welcome to Curtis, where the welcome wagon is real, and so are the trade-offs. Number 11, Marne, Iowa. Population about 120, but don't worry, you'll meet everyone by your second trip to the post office, which, by the way, is open for 1 hour a day. That's not a typo. If you want small-town peace and quiet, Marne is basically the witness protection program with cornfields. The town's deal: free land 80 by 120 feet. Yours if you build at least a 1,200 square foot house within 18 months. Median home price hovers around $88,000, which is less than a year of rent in most cities, and the cost of living is so low you'll start believing in time travel. But here's the catch: silence. Not the relaxing spa music kind. Actual bone-deep existential quiet. No traffic, no sirens, not even a barking dog to break the spell. If you hear a noise after 9 p.m., it's probably just the wind or your own existential dread. Amenities? Let's just say the local entertainment is watching the tumbleweeds and speculating if the postmaster is a real person or just a legend. Social life is what you make of it. And neighbors will know if you sneeze before you do. So if you crave privacy, Marne might be a little too good at delivering. But if you want a blank slate, dirt cheap land, and a shot at living where everyone knows your name and your business, this is as real as it gets. Just remember to check the post office hours and maybe practice your small talk. Number 10, Loop City, Nebraska. If Curtis is the town that throws you a parade, Loop City is the cousin who invites you to a pierogi-eating contest, then claims to have seen a UFO on the way home. Here, the free land comes with a side of Polish days. Think kolache bake-offs, parades, and more polka than your Spotify can handle. The town's Polish White Eagle mural runs right down Main Street. And yes, someone's abuela will absolutely judge your dumpling technique. Median home price? $125,000. Rent hovers around $600, which leaves plenty of cash for pierogies, or depending on your luck, alien detection equipment. Because Lou City isn't just famous for its festivals, it's Nebraska's unofficial UFO hotspot. Locals swap stories about strange lights over Sherman Reservoir, and the town Facebook group is basically 50% fishing photos, 50% blurry saucer debates. But let's not sugarcoat it. The wind here doesn't blow, it interrogates. Expect your grill to end up in the next county if you forget to anchor it. Social life revolves around the VFW, fish fries, and the annual parade. So if you crave anonymity, you'll have to hide behind a pierogi platter. Number 9, Elwood, Nebraska. Where the welcome mat isn't just out, it's practically stuffed with cash. Here's the pitch: move to Elwood, build a home on a free lot, and the town will hand you a $5,000 bonus per child under 18. Yes, you heard right. Bring your kids, get paid. It's like the opposite of college tuition. Median home price sits around $115,000, rent averages $540, and you're a short drive from Johnson Lake, which means weekends can look like pontoon boats instead of parking lots. Elwood's town council isn't shy about their strategy. They want families, lots of them. The school board cheers every new arrival, and the playground gets more upgrades than most city parks. But there's a catch. The train tracks cut right through town, and those late-night horns don't care if your baby just fell asleep. Amenities are limited, so if you need a Target run, plan on a road trip. Grocery options? Think more grab a loaf of bread and a fishing license than organic almond milk aisle. Still, the math is wild. Free land, a child bonus, and a shot at lakeside living. All you need is a tolerance for rural quiet, the occasional midnight train, and a willingness to swap big city buzz for small town handshakes, and maybe a few extra dollars for earplugs. Number 8. New Richland, Minnesota. Here's the deal. You get a free lot in the Homestake subdivision, but don't start dreaming about building a castle with a moat. The town board has opinions, lots of them, and they're not shy about putting them in writing. Picture a neighborhood where the HOA read too many dystopian novels. Want a fence? Think again. The subdivision covenants treat fences like they're an existential threat to prairie views. House size? Capped. Your plans for a sprawling McMansion get downsized fast. Modest is the official vibe. Exterior color? Let's just say you'll be picking from a palette that won't scare the neighbors or the local deer. Median home price hovers around $150,000, and the Farm and City Days Festival brings out the full spectrum of small-town Minnesota, from tractor pulls to cow pie bingo. But the real show is the town board, who will scrutinize your blueprints like they're planning the next moon landing. Coffee shop closes at 2 p.m., so you'd better be an early riser. If you're dreaming of personal freedom, New Richland might feel like a group project you never signed up for. But if you like predictable neighbors, tidy lawns, and living in a place where everyone agrees on what beige means, your search might be over. Number 7. Marquette, Kansas. This is the town that sells itself as a modern-day homestead act. Except now, your horse is a Subaru and the prairie is Wi-Fi enabled. Marquette will hand you a free residential lot, no strings attached, as long as you build a house. Sounds like a dream, right? Median home price is about $150,000, rent sits near $800, and crime is so rare the local paper once ran a story about a missing lawn gnome. But here's the catch. Marquette is tiny. Population hovers around 600, and if you want a job, you'd better like windshield time. The town's biggest employer is the elementary school, and unless you're planning to teach kindergarten or run the post office, you're probably commuting to McPherson, Lindsborg, or even Salina. That's 20 to 45 minutes each way. So free land, but you'll pay in gas and podcasts. The upside? You get to live somewhere that feels straight out of a nostalgia filter. The Kansas Motorcycle Museum calls Marquette home, and the Prairie Trail Scenic Byway runs right through town. On weekends, you can ride the byway, check out the vintage bikes, and still make it home before the streetlights flicker on. But don't expect a bustling nightlife or a bustling anything, really. The trade-off for all that open space and zero crime is a social calendar that revolves around the motorcycle rally and the annual town picnic. In Marquette, freedom is real, but so is the cost of your daily commute. Number 6. Belleville, Kansas. Here's the pitch. Up to $35,000 in grants if you build or buy a home, enough to make your mortgage blush. Median home price is about $120,000, rent is a cool $600, and crime is so low, the wildest thing on Main Street is the rumor mill. But don't get too comfortable. Privacy here is more of a suggestion than a right. Belleville's social scene runs on horsepower and hearsay. The High Banks dirt track is the town's heartbeat. And if you think you can slip in unnoticed, think again. The minute you show up for a test drive, 3 neighbors and a cousin you didn't know you had will know what color your new siding is. The grant money is real, no cryptic fine print, just an expectation you'll stick around and actually live in the house. But trade-offs? Oh, they're baked in. Limited shopping means your big city retail therapy dreams are replaced by hardware store therapy. Healthcare is solid for basics, but don't expect a Mayo Clinic on the corner. And nightlife? Unless you count Friday night at the racetrack or the world's slowest Dairy Queen drive-thru, you'll be home before the streetlights flicker. In Belleville, you get cash to move in, but you'll pay in gossip. So wave to everyone and maybe keep your Amazon packages on the down low. Number 5, Mankato, Kansas. Freeland sounds great until you realize your new neighbors are more into camo than karaoke. Here, you can snag a residential lot in the Johnson Edition, build a single-family home, and watch your mortgage shrink to the size of your grocery bill. Median home price? Around $85,000. Rent? Usually under $500. But if you're picturing rooftop bars or a bustling downtown, let's just say you'll be hunting for nightlife and not finding any. Social life in Mankato is a very specific flavor. Think threshing bee weekends, hunting club meetups, and the annual parade where the tractors outnumber the floats. The calendar's biggest events involve antique equipment and camo jackets. If you're not into deer season or swapping stories at the local feed store, you might feel like you showed up at the wrong costume party. There's a catch to all that affordability. This is a place where Friday night means a potluck at the VFW, and your biggest entertainment upgrade is a new set of mud tires, free land, low prices, and a front row seat to the county fair. Just don't expect a DJ set unless you count the combine's engine noise. Number 4, Claremont, Minnesota. If you thought small-town housing incentives meant a blank check, Claremont would like a word, and that word is paperwork. Here, the city hands out free lots, but only if you agree to the municipal version of My Way or the Highway. The deal? You must build a modular home and not just any prefab palace. Your choices are limited to a handful of floor plans from Arden Home Services. Picture 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, and a layout so standardized the neighbors could swap houses and never notice. Want to roll up with your own builder or get creative with a yurt? Not happening. But the fun doesn't stop at the blueprints. The program is strictly for working families who fit inside the city's income bands. For 2025, that means you need to keep your household income under $125,600 for a couple, or $144,400 if you've got 3 or more. The lower your income, the sweeter the deal. Lots slide from free to $9,500 depending on your pay stub. And before you get the keys, you'll need to complete 8 hours of homeowner education and qualify for a USDA mortgage, with the city's hand-picked counselor, of course. Claremont's workforce housing isn't just about filling empty lots. It's a curated assembly line approach to community building. The upside? New homes, modern infrastructure, and a shot at affordable ownership for families who play by the rules. The trade-off? Say goodbye to custom builds, high-end finishes, or any hope of painting your front door neon green. Welcome to Claremont, where the American dream comes pre-approved, pre-measured, and delivered by truck. Number 3, Paducah, Kentucky. This is the spot where the town hands you a $6,500 relocation package and then dares you to resist joining the local mural selfie cult. Paducah isn't just giving away a patch of grass on the edge of nowhere. It's rolling out the welcome mat with moving reimbursements, tax waivers, high-speed internet support, and enough artsy perks to make your Instagram blush. The median home price clocks in at $250,000, which is a little spicy for a Freeland countdown, but here you're buying into a UNESCO creative city, not just a zip code. Here's how it works. Remote workers, artists, and anyone with a W-2 that doesn't require a commute get priority. The city's recruiters are basically part-time hype men, eager to show off the riverfront murals, quilt museums, and a downtown that looks like it was designed by Pinterest. But the trade-off is real. You need a remote-friendly job to qualify, and the cost of entry is higher than most towns on this list. It's less frontier bargain and more creative class starter pack. Paducah's pitch is clear. Bring your job, your art supplies, and your best festival outfit. In return, you get a check, a tight-knit creative scene, and a place where even the utility boxes are covered in murals. Just don't expect to snag a craftsman for $100,000 or to escape the annual quilt parade. Paducah pays for movers, but the culture is what keeps people planted. Number 2, Topeka, Kansas. Here, the Freeland Parade gives way to a corporate handshake and a check with your name on it, if you're the right kind of worker. Topeka's Choose Topeka program isn't about quirky festivals or haunted cornfields. It's the HR department's dream. Up to $15,000 in cold, hard relocation cash for remote workers, veterans, or locals who finally decide to come home. The city wants you to bring your job, your laptop, and a willingness to brave Kansas weather. Median home price sits at $190,000, with rent around $1,000, affordable but not exactly a steal compared to the prairie towns giving away lots for a handshake and a promise. Topeka's pitch is all business. Move here, buy a house, and stay for at least a year. The incentives come with paperwork and a background check, not a parade float. Crime rates? Average for a Midwest city. Healthcare and shopping? Solid if you don't mind driving past the Brown versus Board of Education National Historic Site on your way to Target. The city's vibe is less small-town gossip, more LinkedIn networking event with a side of State House tours. There's cash on the table, but the city expects you to stick around and actually contribute. Topeka. Where the bonus is real, the weather is unpredictable, and your new neighbor might be an HR manager who wants to know how soon you can start. Mississippi County, Arkansas doesn't just dangle free land. It flashes a $50,000 carrot and then hands you a pair of golden handcuffs. Here's the deal. Build a new home worth at least $200,000 and the county will spot you up to 10% of the cost, capped at $50,000. Existing homes get you up to $25,000. But before you start house hunting on Zillow, check the fine print. You have to work for one of the county's steel giants. Think Big River Steel, US Steel, or Atlas Tube, and you're signing up for at least 4 years on the job and in the house. Leave early and you're writing a check back. Stay the course and the loan is forgiven, with the county even covering your tax bill on the forgiven amount. This isn't a remote worker fantasy. Mississippi County wants you clocking in at the mill, not just phoning it in from a coffee shop. The average home price for participants? $270,000. Average age? Late 20s to late 30s. 60% are first-time buyers, many moving from states like Missouri and Ohio. The program has already helped over 150 families buy or build new homes, with Big River Steel and Atlas Tube pumping hundreds of thousands back into the fund for 2025. There's no parade, no mural, no UFO festival, just a serious cash offer with a serious commitment. The payoff? A shot at real home equity in a county where Johnny Cash picked cotton and the steel industry writes the paychecks. But don't expect a free ride. In Mississippi County, the biggest incentives come with the longest strings attached. In 2025, over a dozen U.S. towns are still offering free land or cash incentives, with some homes listing for under $100,000 and grants reaching as high as $50,000. These programs, documented in public records and town council minutes, are driven by population decline and a desire to revive local economies. But as the footage shows, every offer comes with trade-offs. Strict build rules in New Richland, job requirements in Mississippi County, or social quirks like one-hour post offices. While many towns openly publish their eligibility rules and incentive terms, it's not always clear how many newcomers actually stay long-term or how these offers will change as remote work evolves. What's certain is that the free land boom isn't a scam, but it's not a free ride either. For anyone weighing a move, the lesson is clear. The fine print matters as much as the headline. And in these towns, the story isn't just about land, it's about the price of starting over.